management or development and the industrialization. I think these three areas are absolutely coherent to each other. There are various estimates available in the market today which talk about between urban and rural population of India, how it is divided today and how will it get divided actually say after 10 years, 15 years. Estimation is that like about by 2025 we'll have about 70% of India living in the urban areas rather than the other areas. So question is that going to actually put a lot of pressure back onto the urban local bodies, especially the municipal corporation, from how do they manage the cities, how do they manage the overall citizens as well as the business which are going to operate out of those cities actually. So I'm going to focus mainly around this particular area. Within Cisco actually, my group is completely focused around the urban local bodies, the city surveillance projects, talking about the areas like infrastructure development companies and those kind of areas. So it's predominantly around how the urbanization infrastructure as well as the industrialization, how it's going to impact the overall urban local body going forward. Since I've been managing the service providers earlier as well, so one of the key things which comes back from our best practices so far which we have seen in the market, especially in the e-governance area, looking at SWANs as well as looking at the SDCs and looking at the CSEs. I think the time has come that, okay, we should look at as well a similar concept when it comes to back to the urban local bodies or especially the municipal corporations. And that's what actually I'm trying to depict here from what is the change from the role perspective for the urban local body or for a municipal corporation. And that's what is actually I'm trying to indicate here. Every city, why it is sustaining and why every city is growing, not only because of the population, but because of the economy as well. I think it's a clear indication that, okay, the city needs to get managed much more effectively. There are issues around the stimulus packages, budget concerns, considering the employment, unemployment from city perspective. And as you can see, the top 10, 30, 40, 100 cities within India are growing much rapidly. So naturally, the urban local bodies will have to change their thinking completely. It's no more that, okay, they can play a role of passive administrator, and they have to get up and look at a serious role, and they have to become a service provider by themselves. And when I say service provider, means what? Are we talking about the ICT? Are we talking about the applications? Are we talking about anything else? The answer is yes. They will have to play the role of a telecom service provider. They have to play a role of application service provider. They have to play a role of e-governance. They have to play a role of managing G2C, G2B, those kind of areas. So question is, urban local bodies are going to play a major role when it comes to going forward for the next 5 to 10 years perspective. And that's what I'm trying to depict here. And the various areas, right from the education, environment, public safety, security, health, connected cities and communities, all these are all interrelated. What is important is that the role is changing, and are we really, looking at municipal corporations, are they really thinking in those directions or not? I think I'm just trying to put a thought process here, and I hope that the panel will look at it much more seriously from that point of view. I've just put in some of the service benchmarking here. I think, as you can see, there are some of the cities which I've listed here, and I've listed various service framework. That's why I'm saying again and again that the urban local body or the municipal corporation will have to change, and they have to become a service provider. These are the various services which you can see on the left side. The very first service is, of course, VDV, which is voice, data, and video. And then, of course, I'm getting into the utility, traffic management, security, etc. I can go on, and then the benchmarking is there. I've not done, so one of the customer of mine, gave me this benchmarking, and I thought this is the appropriate forum where I can display this extremely clearly. I don't know whether you're able to read or not, but some of the cities which are listed here are like Singapore, Vancouver, Cape Town, Edinburgh, Dubai, San John, Melbourne, Copenhagen. And if I have to compare all these cities back to any of our urban cities here in the country, I'm sure we are doing some kind of a services framework which we have trying to follow here. Could be e-governance, could be manual, but yes, some of the systems are in place and may not be in the integrated fashion. And I'm not saying that even these cities have got many things in the integrated fashion. But what is important is that this gives some kind of framework for us to look at how the municipal corporation will have to shape up in order to ensure that the life of a citizen, life of the businessman, the life of the other government departments which basically support the city, how they have to work hand in hand. And that's what I'm trying to indicate here actually from our point of view. And this is the right forum actually as we're talking about the urban e-governance. This is another additional example. For example, e-library. I don't think there are some cities where people have gone and done the e-library, tourist management. There are city portals available where people go and do a lot of online transactions, trading, a lot of property tax management which gets filed out there. But when we're doing all these things, are we looking at something like this? So this is the concept which I want to introduce from the Cisco perspective very clearly to the entire audience here as well as the panel. We're looking at the Smart Plus Connected Community track from the urbanization perspective for the municipal corporations, for the urban local bodies. And instead of looking at individual blocks to be handled individually, can we look at the overall integrated approach? Can we look at transportation in consultation with safety and security? Can we look at learning and healthcare together? Because we have municipal schools, we have got municipal hospitals, we have got municipal dispensaries. Can we utilize them effectively and ensure that, okay, we have the necessary doctors? Could be, numbers could be limited, but can we have them, visible across the network, using the network, and they can start, instead of visiting dispensaries in a limited way, can we utilize the network effectively so that the patients who can come to the dispensaries, but the specialized doctors actually are in the city hospital still, and can we, make them interactive, and can they start, using the digital medical records as well as the diagnosis, which can be done very effectively. Some of these stuff, I'm trying to just get here. Even from the business perspective, if you look at, can we utilize Smart Plus Connected real estate thought process and look at overall property management as well as overall reduction in terms of the energy management and those kind of things. Can we introduce those kind of concepts here? And that's where I think, the service provider concept, that can municipal corporation become a service provider for the city? And everyone has been talking about the G2C. I'm trying to cover here G2G, G2C, G2B, as well as government to citizen services. I think the whole idea here is that, can we integrate all of this? Can we have a single network along with the data center, of course? Because all your e-governance applications are today spread out across various departments within the city. Can we integrate them into a single data center? Can we have effective utilization of your database management? And can we use very effective tools like data mining in order to ensure that the proper records are available and which can be integrated back to the projects like UID? Can we utilize the network in order to offer, somebody was saying that, can I get, I think Mr. Sanil has left, but he was talking about, can I get 10 Mbps? 10 Mbps for what kind of purpose? Oh, sorry, he's back. So, yes, we should think about it. And I think the municipal corporation should look at, can they put up their own network for citizens, where citizen actually can go ahead and access the information which is available in their data center effectively for doing their own citizen management. The business teams or the SMEs, can they go and file online returns for their property perspective or water tax management and those kind of things? Can we look at the network to be utilized for smart metering when it comes to water management, solid waste management, energy efficiency by putting the smart meters? Yes, we should look at, and network plays a key role. And any information, whether it's GIS based or or anything else, you cannot utilize and put them into the cloud without having a network. So what is important here is that, yes, we have got information. Let's interconnect all of them, use network very effectively, and use the network not only for connecting various offices of municipal corporation within their ward offices or their own offices within the city. Can we extend that network actually beyond? Can we take the network to the businesses? Can we take the network back to the citizens? And can they start using that very effectively? And that's the whole idea which I'm trying to push a thought process here. If you look at the vertical technology architecture, which I'm just trying to put here, this looks exactly similar to any service provider who's operating actually within the city. Okay, and if you compare this is exactly the thought process which was put up when the swans were implemented, when the state data centers have been getting implemented. If you look at the CSEs, they got implemented in a similar fashion. Can we bring them back from the urbanization perspective? When we're looking at the rural areas, so clearly from the state government or from the central government point of view, are we looking at municipal corporations, city management very effectively? And I think there is a need from our perspective to look at it very seriously, because e-governance, and if you look at the kind of leakages which we have from the revenue generation point of view, if we can address them, I think the urban local bodies can effectively give away back, and that money actually can be flown back for the rural areas as well. I think that's going to be key here as well. Can the urban local bodies also give away some of their revenues or some of their profits back to the rural areas for development? Yes, we can look at it. But then we have to have a right framework for that. Some of the vertical services which I have put in here.
Can we just have quickly?
This is my last slide.
Yeah, thanks.
So as you can see, the left, I've just put some vertical services here. The left three services from the vertical perspective, I'm talking about the e-health, e-education, e-safety. Is there a possibility that for the traffic management, some of the public gathering places, some of the critical locations in the city, can urban local body or the municipal corporation put the surveillance system in place, and can it be hired as a service by the local traffic police or by the city overall police, and can urban local bodies offer as a service? There's a possibility. They can do that. There's a possibility of offering the entire 24/7 kind of SLAs on these kind of services. Let's look at the education, connecting about 100 plus municipal schools back to each other and delivering the entire content, over the network. Is possible? Yes, it is possible. Do we have number of teachers? Yes, there is a limitation. So can we use this kind of a thought process? Yes, we can. Similarly, from the health perspective, city hospitals versus your dispensaries. You have got paramedical assistants all over, but do we have number of doctors which can visit all these dispensaries? The answer is no. Do we have digital medical records? Yes, we are beginning somewhere. So can we integrate all these things and say, can we have a single thought process, and can urban local body become a service provider? I'm just putting a thought process here. Let's see how it goes. Thank you very much.